Hello, everyone. Good afternoon, and welcome to another wonderful session of Grammar Live with me, Alexander. I believe you had a great weekend, and so far from Monday to today, Thursday, your week has been fruitful. To those joining us for the very first time, I welcome you, and to those already here, I'd like to encourage you to share the links with your friends, your families. Keep your questions, your contributions, your suggestions, or any other thing that bothered your mind in regards or in relation to grammar to this particular platform, and I'll give you the desired answers and response that you want. So far, so good. We've talked about tenses, and we looked at the origin of the word tenses. We've looked at the various embodiments of tenses. In our last meeting, we had an overview of all that we did last year. And the last thing that we did was to talk about the present tense. And we said the present tense has four main components. That's the present simple, the present continuous, the present perfect, and then the present perfect continuous. In today's series, we want to move into another area of tenses, and that is the past tense. Now, most of the time, anytime we want to talk to people about events or activities that has already taken place, it is important for us to communicate to them in such a way that they will understand and know that whatever we are talking about are things that has already happened. So for us to effectively communicate in that regard, we need an aspect of the verbs that we to use for us to communicate whatever message that we want to put across with relation to things that has already happened. And for us to effectively send our message across and for people to know and appreciate that we are talking about things that has already happened, we came up in English with the concept of past tense. We came up with the concept of past tense. So somebody will ask, what is a past tense and how do we use past tenses? What is a past tense and how do we use past tenses? I'm talking about something that has already happened, I need to use the past tense to communicate. So to express completed actions in the past, we use the past tense form of the verb. To express completed actions in the past, we use the past tense form of the verb. For example, I saw a ghost last Friday. I saw a ghost last Friday. Here, I'm talking about something that has already happened. Something that has already happened. Me seeing the ghost is not taking place now, it has already taken place. So for me to communicate to you that it has already taken place, I need to use the past tense form of the verb. So the past tense form of the verb see is saw. So I say I saw a ghost last Friday to express completed actions in the past. Again, if I want to express habits in the past, things I did, but I no longer do them, habits in the past, I use the past simple to express it. Habits in the past, I use the past simple to express them. For example, when I was young, I watched lots of television every day after school. When I was young, I watched lots of television every day after school, meaning that as at this time, this particular moment, I am not still young. I am now old. But previously, when I was young, I watched lots of television every day after school. This was my habit in the past, but it is not the same now. So in expressing past habits, we use the past simple to express them. We use the past simple to express past habits. Again, to describe a series of completed actions in the past. To describe a series of completed action in the past. So let's say I started A, then I join it with B, then C, D, E, and F. So for me to express all these completed actions in the past, I need to find a way to communicate to you, for you to understand that all these actions that I'm talking about are things that has already happened. And the best form of the verb for me to use to communicate this is the past tense. So we say we use the past tense to describe a series of completed actions in the past. For example, I finished work. This is in the past. Finished work. Walked to the beach. Walked also in the past. And found a nice place. Found a nice place. So found is the past tense of find. So if I want to describe series of completed actions in the past, I use the past simple tense to describe it. Series of completed actions in the past. Again, for stative verbs like have, which is possession, be, think, believe, know, and dislike. So if we want to express states using stative verbs, we express them with the past simple. So for example, I had a small cottage in the woods. I had a small cottage in the wood. This is in the past. It belongs to me. The cottage belongs to me. So in talking about previously that I have this particular cottage, for me to talk about it now, I need to make reference to it as something that I already or I once had. So to do that, I need to use the past tense form of the stative verbs. Somebody will ask me, what is a stative verb? What is a stative verb? So when we talk of stative verbs, a stative verb is used to describe a state of being or a situation. Stative verbs are used to describe states of being or situations. So anytime there's a situation or state of being that you want to talk about, we use stative verbs. Now, it is how something is. So stative verbs basically talks about how something is, how the thing feels, or how the thing appears. Stative verbs are used to describe a state of being or situations. It is how something is, how the thing feels like, or how the thing appears. These verbs don't show physical actions. So when we are dealing with stative verbs, they don't show physical actions. Stative verbs don't show physical actions. Let's look at the categories of the stative verbs. Now, stative verbs often relate to these particular categories: thoughts and opinions. So when we are dealing with thoughts and opinions, we use stative verbs to talk about it. So some of the stative verbs that we use to talk about thoughts and opinions are the verb agree. Now, this particular verb does not express any action. It doesn't express any action. The verb agree, believe, guess, know, think. All these verbs are stative verbs because they are used to express thoughts and opinions. They are used to express thoughts and opinions. Other functions of stative verbs are to express feelings and emotions. Feelings and emotions. So verbs like, dislike, hate, love, wish, prefer, and want are all verbs that we use to describe feelings and emotions. They don't express actions. They don't express actions, but they rather show the situation or the state of being of the noun in a sentence. So for feelings and emotions, we have dislike, hate, love, wish, prefer, and want. There are others, stative verbs that we use to express feelings and emotions. Another use of stative verbs are to express senses and perceptions. So if I want to express senses or perceptions, I use these common stative verbs to express that. The verb appear, the verb be, the verb feel, the verb look, smell, taste. So in expressing senses or perceptions, we use these stative verbs to express them. And another use of stative verbs or another function of stative verbs is possessions and measurement. Possessions and measurement. Now, possessions, when something is for you, something belongs to you. So we have the verb belong, have, measure, weigh. All these are stative verbs that we use to express possession or measurement. So in expressing that something once belonged to you in the past, but you want to talk about it now, we use the past simple to express it. And in using the past simple, the focus is not on the action verbs, the focus is on the stative verbs, because the stative verbs are used to express situations or states of being. They do not describe actions. They do not describe actions. So as a way of recap, we talked about the past simple. We talked about the past simple. When we say the past simple is used to express completed actions in the past, it is used to express completed actions in the past. Two, to express habits in the past. Three, to describe series of completed actions in the past. And then finally, it's used for stative verbs. It is used for stative verbs. Used for stative verbs. And we say a stative verb is used to describe a state of being or situation. They do not describe actions. Stative verbs do not describe actions. They do not describe or show actions. It is how something is, how something feels, or how something appears. Now, this brings us to the end of today's series of Grammar Live with me. I believe you've picked something from this wonderful session. And I always want to encourage you to share the links with your friends. Keep your comments, your questions, and contributions coming in. And make a date with me next week, Thursday, for another wonderful session of Grammar Live. Till then, continue practicing and always remember that with grammar, you will speak better. See you next time.